Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 10-Minute Elections. As it has been a while, I know I've been off for something like a month, but I'm finally back, and we're going to be discussing the 2022 Ohio Senate race today. It is Sunday, March 28th. So as we get into April, the Virginia Democratic primary for governor is fast approaching. That's the only big race in 2021. It has certainly the Democratic favorite, seeing as it is Virginia. We'll be discussing House races, governor races, just the future of some states like the Rust Belt. I know I did that video a little, I think in my last one. But for now, I want to look at a few key 2022 Senate races, and one of those is going to be Ohio. With Rob Portman retiring, he's the two-term incumbent, and he has just cited political gridlock and the how difficult it is at this point to just get stuff done, both bipartisan and partisan, frankly, in Washington. And so let's go over the candidates here. On the Republican side, let's start there. The major candidates, and again, I know that there are some, there are something like, 8, 10, 15 candidates, but I only want to focus on the ones that actually have a chance. Josh Mandel. He was the former Ohio treasurer from 2011 to 2019. He was defeated by Sherrod Brown in 2012 Senate race, and he lost the Republican primary in 2018. He has tied himself very, very closely to Trump. I know there's been, read an interesting article about how newspapers in Ohio, the biggest newspaper in Ohio, was trying to, what they weren't even fact checking him. He was being, frankly, so many statements that were just, regardless of politics or anything, they were just plainly false statements, and they weren't correcting them. They said they might if he it was clear that he had a solid shot to win the Republican nomination. I guess they don't think so right now, but it looks like he has definitely carved out a lane for himself in that primary. Now, he was the favorite in the primary for a while, but the person that has actually overtaken him in odds is J.D. Vance, venture capitalist. He really doesn't have many endorsements at this point. He's the author of Hillbilly Elegy, but he is now the favorite to win the primary over Josh Mandel just because of a potential appeal more to moderate Republicans. And the other one is going to be Jane Timken. She was the chair of the Ohio Republican Party from 2017 up until this year, and she is also both Mandel and Timken, as well as JD Vance all of them are actively looking for a Trump endorsement. So it's really a three-horse race at this point in the Republican primary. Josh Mandel has the endorsement of Senator Mike Lee, the senior senator of Utah. Jane Timken has some, representative endorsements, state senators, state representatives, but certainly no one as big as Mike Lee, a U.S. senator. And then J.D. Vance just has one publicly listed endorsement, at least to this point, and it's from Peter Thiel, a fellow venture capitalist. So in the Democratic side, it's really a two-horse race at this point, although neither candidate has formally declared, I believe, but they are both, expected to. They're both essentially running. So it's going to be Amy Acton and Tim Ryan. Amy Acton is the former director of the Ohio Department of Health. Tim Ryan is a U.S. representative since 2003 and a candidate for president in 2020. So Tim Ryan was the favorite for a while, but again, just like Jane Timken overtook Josh Mandel, Amy Acton, I think, recently overtook Tim Ryan as the favorite in the Democratic primary. Now, the polls, what limited polls there are, have shown that Amy Acton, I think, has a narrow lead on all the Republican candidates. All the Republican candidates have a narrow lead on Tim Ryan, but polling in Ohio tends to overestimate Democrats, just for whatever it's worth. We saw it in 2016 and in 2020, although in 2018, Sherrod Brown won by a sizable amount, but I wouldn't look too much into it because we did see Republican wins down the ballot, just not in that U.S. Senate race, and Sherrod Brown is a populist. And so the rules are a little different with populists. We saw it with Donald Trump. For example, like the Donald Trump's path to victory would not be the same as Mike DeWine's. So where Ohio stands on the Senate map. So if Ohio's in yellow, then I have 48 Democratic seats, which include 44 safe, 2 likely, 2 lean. The 2 likelies are Oregon and Colorado. And Oregon's only likely because I think it'll be 13, 14. Oregon you could easily put as a safe. That's 45 safes for the Democrats. So Oregon and Colorado, Michael Bennet. And then the two leans at this point are Nevada and New Hampshire. Republican, I have 41 safe seats. 5 likelies. That's going to be Florida, Marco Rubio, South Carolina, Tim Scott, Missouri, open seat. Eric Greitens might make it dicey for Republicans, although the Missouri AG just jumped into that race too. So it's not Greitens' primary to lose at this point. Iowa, Chuck Grassley. We don't know if he's going to run again. And then Alaska, just because it's not a 15-point state at this point, but I still expect Lisa Murkowski to win easily and probably by 15 points because of that ranked choice voting. And then the one lean at this point is North Carolina. That is also an open seat, just looking at the partisan lane of the state. So the toss-ups, again, these are the same toss-ups I've had all the way through. The 4 toss-ups at this point are Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona. The states that could become toss-ups are New Hampshire, if Chris Sununu can show that he's a good candidate and if he runs at all. Nevada could become a toss-up, but I'm not prepared to put that there yet. And then North Carolina, although that one's a little bit of a stretch, I think after seeing 2020, that one will probably stay in the Republican column. So let's run over some scenarios. Just look at how where Ohio will be in conjunction with other states. I mean, let's say it's Jane Timken versus Amy Acton is the race, right? So Amy Acton has shown a narrow lead in polling, but it's well within the margin of error. It's basically a toss-up. It's 2 years out from the election. Well, not 2 years out. It's like 1.5 years out. And polling generally overestimates Democrats in Ohio. All right, so let's say our first scenario is going to be a good Democratic year, right? So they win all their seats here. Maybe they don't quite pull it out in North Carolina, but they're quite competitive. All right. So Arizona, Mark Kelly takes by a lean margin. Georgia, Raphael Warnock holds on. Pennsylvania, let's say they flip. So that's already 51 seats. Wisconsin, say they flip that one too. Then Ohio would be their 53rd seat. And this one, I think, even in this scenario, I would still place it as a tilt Republican. This race is going to be within 3 points. This race is going to be closer than the 2020 presidential race. Mark my words. But it is not. It would be difficult to see a Democratic victory. I think if Democrats were actually to win in Ohio, let's talk about some of the margins we would need to see. For a Democratic win in Ohio, the expected results across the country would be a lean in Arizona, a lean in Georgia, a lean in Pennsylvania, a lean in Wisconsin, a tilt in North Carolina, and then a tilt in Ohio. So Ohio would probably be the 54th Democratic seat. So looking back, so where would this fall in terms of Republicans? If the map was just a little bit better for Republicans, I think Ohio probably goes red before North Carolina does. Ohio is the 47th seat for Republicans. North Carolina would be their 58th, or I'm sorry, North Carolina would be their 48th. Wisconsin is the 49th. And then the majority maker, I believe, is going to be just looking at these 3 races. If we give Wisconsin to the GOP and we make Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Arizona our toss-ups, right? So Arizona, tilt Democrat, I'll give that one to Mark Kelly. And even let's say that Republicans can pick up Raphael Warnock's seat in Georgia. That means the majority maker, just as it was in the 2020 presidential election, it all comes back to Pennsylvania. Joe Biden won it by a lean margin. We'll see what happens in Pennsylvania in 2022. I think there's a much better chance of Georgia going red and Pennsylvania going blue than Pennsylvania going red and Raphael Warnock keeping his seat in Georgia. All right, so that's just to give you a picture of where Ohio stands. So if I make my toss-ups again, right, and then North Carolina, that I have that margin as a lean for now. I'm sorry, that is a lean. Then what is Ohio going to be? I'm sorry, do I have the right map here? Yes, it looks like I do. Okay. Ohio, I'm rating right now as a lean Republican seat. So that is going to be Republican second lean. And with Ohio as a lean Republican, we now have 48 Democratic seats, 48 Republican seats, and Democrats need to win 2 out of the 4 toss-ups here. I call them the 4 corners of the 2022 Senate race. And those 2, if again, for a Democratic majority, those 2 are going to be Arizona and Pennsylvania. And I think if they can take Arizona and Pennsylvania, they probably take Georgia too. All right. Thank y'all so much for watching. I know it has been a while, but I will get back on the grind. I will make some great videos for y'all. I've got some awesome ones planned in the upcoming days and weeks, so stay tuned. I'm on Instagram as 10-minute elections, all lowercase, all one word. If you just want the bonus content, all the video notices, bonus stuff, info, polls, maps, news, all sorts of stuff on there. And we are getting close now to 50 subscribers. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe, like, comment, and share this with all your friends. Once again, thank y'all so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and I will see y'all in the next one.